Now at 9, a shocking article with extreme accusations. Here the accused claims of North Carolina's gubernatorial candidate.
And the 11-day search for a Kentucky highway shooter is ended. Learn where police found the criminal.
And the Coast Guard resumes its investigation into the implosion of the Titan. Find out more about the final moments of the submersible.
And the U.S. inching closer to a government shutdown. Learn what this means for the city of Muncie.
Local news about local people, live from Ball State Unified Media. You're watching NewsLink Indiana.
Good evening and thanks for being with us. I'm Demo Robinson.
And I'm Eli Grasham. Lieutenant Governor of the North Carolina and Republican gubernatorial candidate Mark Robinson is under scrutiny after an article was published by CNN this afternoon.
That article claimed that Robinson had a large presence on pornographic websites. According to CNN, Robinson frequently commented extreme explicitives on a pornographic website between 2008 and 2012 under the username Mini Soldier, a moniker Robinson used frequently online. Robinson listed his full name on his profile for the websites, as well as an email address he used on numerous websites across the internet for decades. The lieutenant governor posted on a video on X before the article was published, telling viewers that the contents of this article, quote, are not words of Mark Robinson.
We absolutely do. This is not us. These are not our words, and this is not anything that is characteristic of me, nor has it ever been. The people here of North Carolina know I have been completely transparent about my history, all the warts. We put them all out. We let folks know about it. But the folks here also know my character. They know who I am. They know my voice, so to speak. This is not my voice. This is not things that we would ever say or even think.
Robinson has been under fire for his comments before. He repeatedly attacked Martin Luther King Jr. and allegedly declared himself a, quote, black Nazi.
Authorities in Kentucky say the 11-day manhunt for the I-75 shooter is over. Joseph Couch's body was found yesterday, not far from the shooting site. A couple assisting in the search for Couch found the body in deep rural brush off the interstate. They were live streaming on YouTube at the time they found the body and had been tipped off by vultures circling overhead. Police in Laurel County say Couch opened fire near the interstate on September 7th. 5 people were shot, but fortunately, all survived. They located the AR-15 rifle they believed was used in the mass shooting, as well as the suspect's vehicle early on in the search.
New footage of the Titan submersible wreckage scattered on the seafloor in the North Atlantic Ocean was released today. This comes as the U.S. Coast Guard holds hearings on the submersible's tragic journey. In the video, you can see a large chunk of debris sticking up, as well as smaller pieces around it. The submersible was on a trip to view the Titanic's wreckage in June of last year. The vessel lost contact with its mothership nearly 2 hours after it began its dive, and suffered a catastrophic implosion that killed all 5 people on board. OceanGate Expeditions operated the submersible. An OceanGate mission specialist and volunteer delivered a tearful testimony about the passenger's demeanor before the journey began.
They were just very happy to go. And that's the memory I have. Nobody was really nervous. They were excited about what they're going to see.
The U.S. Coast Guard hopes the hearings will help uncover what led to the implosion to prevent a similar incident from happening.
Yesterday it was revealed that the House postponed a bill to avoid a partial government shutdown. But what is a government shutdown, and will it affect us here at home?
NewsLink Indiana's Emma Matlock is live downtown Muncie to tell us more.
Thanks, guys. On Wednesday, a funding bill failed to pass through the House. Now, according to CNN, Speaker Mike Johnson has not yet spoken about what steps will be taken to prevent a government shutdown.
So Congress has to pass 12 appropriations bills, and they come out of the different subcommittees of the budget, and so Congress has to do that. The president has to sign them into law.
If Congress cannot pass the appropriations, the government cannot function. While a government shutdown might sound intimidating, the wording is a bit vague. The government does not completely shut down. Some parts may close temporarily, or they might just slow operations.
Some of them are pretty short. Some of them there have been a couple. I think 2019, the first one that happened in 95, 96, they were pretty long. So it depends.
But with that being said, what could this mean for the Muncie area if the situation worsens?
If you think about like a place like Muncie, we've got a lot of students here. Student loans, pump a lot of money in here. We have a fairly indigent population in Muncie, so a lot of those federal benefits, if they are slowed down, or people who are applying for them, can't get enrolled in those programs, it can hurt towns like Muncie.
Now, some of these federally funded places in Muncie include WIC, SNAP, Veteran Affairs, even the Delaware County Airport. But viewers must remember that a government shutdown does not guarantee that those funds are suspended. It depends purely on the situation of the shutdown. In Muncie, Emma Matlock, NewsLink, Indiana.
Thank you, Emma.
Even though we don't want a government shutdown to happen, it is good to always be prepared.
And speaking of being prepared, Hunter, how can we prepare for the weather coming up?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you've taken a step out, but it was hot today. We had a high of 91, tying a record set back in the 1980s here, in which our average is around 77. So definitely feeling that heat this week. At the current temperatures, in Muncie it's 75, but sweet spot in Indianapolis of 82. As well, you see we have this drought monitor here. Most of the Delaware and our viewing areas under a moderate drought because we've had 12 days of no rainfall here, in which I am tracking no rain for right now. Hot streak continues and rain in sight for the weekend in my full forecasts.
Earlier this evening, Muncie hosted its annual bridge dinner. NewsLink Indiana's Kamara Munn has the details.
When you think of a dinner, you may picture a family around the table enjoying food and talking amongst each other. This particular dinner paints a bigger picture of family with a change of scenery. Where there is usually moving traffic on a Thursday, there is music, food vendors, Muncie merchandise, and community tables lined up along the Washington Street Bridge with a one-of-a-kind view of the White River. Over a dozen organizations host this event, including Schaefer Leadership Academy and Muncie Community Schools. Students from Muncie Community Schools and Muncie Central's JROTC assist the event by setting up and taking down tables, decorations, and creating centerpieces. In 2017, this dinner was put into action after a visit from Peter Kageyama, author of Love Where You Live, Creating Emotionally Engaging Places. When discussing his book, Kageyama mentioned the bridge dinner idea that took place in a different community. Short after this, the Muncie community picked it up. What was a test run turned into an annual event. Schaefer Leadership Academy Executive Director Mitch Isaacs said the community engagement and the feedback is what keeps the ball rolling.
If you put on an event, especially one that's new, you're probably onto something when people are asking you halfway through when the event is happening again, and that was our experience.
Elisa Wells says she had been a part of the Muncie Bridge Committee for 5 years and it improves every year.
This is so exciting to see how it has grown and the diversity that it now enjoys. I'm very, very excited.
To make sure everyone has access to this event, there is a shuttle bus that takes attendees to the bridge from Ball State's Schaefer Tower. For more information about the Muncie Bridge Dinner, visit muncieneighborhoods.org. In Muncie, Kamara Munn, NewsLink, Indiana.
To get involved with events like this, visit Ball State's Office of Community Engagement.
Coming up, a supersized interest rate cut is coming your way. More on where the market is headed.
And the Biden administration is offering Medicare subsidies. What this means for your wallet, all this and more coming up on NewsLink Indiana.
Dear moms and dads, what you have achieved here today is going to help us and our futures. It is why we are coming up on stage to collect your diplomas.
You know it's true.
Mom, we love you always.
Everything I do
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible, she must be a keeper.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Man, it's lonely. Like, going through life lonely.
There is the therapeutic aspect of music, just expressing how you feel. I'm going to talk to Howie about his feelings, make it into a song.
The Federal Reserve announced a supersized interest rate cut yesterday. The bold half-point reduction is the first interest rate cut since March 2020. The Fed usually prefers to raise or lower interest rates by no more than a quarter point at an individual meeting. That is, unless there is a reason to think economic conditions will change substantially in the coming months. Fed Chair Jerome Powell justified the move.
We don't think we're behind. We do not think we think this is timely, but I think you can take this as a sign of our commitment not to get behind. So it's a strong move.
Fed officials likely believe the unemployment rate may have risked shooting even higher had they not taken more serious action now. Powell said they're not forecasting rising layoffs or rising inflation, but if market conditions weaken, the Fed chair says he will not wait for things to get worse before taking additional action.
The United States ranks last when it comes to key healthcare measures. That's compared with other high-income nations around the world. According to the Commonwealth Fund Research Group, Americans are sicker, have lower life expectancies, and struggle to afford essential health care. They noted people living in the U.S. face most avoidable deaths. The U.S. also had the highest rates of excess death related to the COVID-19 pandemic for people younger than 75. Switzerland and Germany ranked amongst the U.S. in high-income nations with poor health care.
The Biden administration is offering insurance companies hefty new subsidies to avoid a hike in Medicare drug plan premiums. Participating insurance companies will get an extra $15 per hour per member per month, but only if they limit premium increases. The Inflation Reduction Act will cap a person's out-of-pocket prescription costs at $2,000 for 2025. Insurance companies were expected to raise premiums to help cover some of their added expenses. Medicare beneficiaries will start selecting plans next month.
Like I mentioned, we have been tracking these sizzling temperatures. How much of these temperatures will continue? I'll have more in my full forecasts.
As a dad, every day is a challenge. To make sure that the time that I spend with them, it doesn't matter how tired you are, you have to try and to teach them. When they learn something new and you can just see in their faces, it's such an incredible moment. It's those moments that are my favorite.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
When tornadoes touched down in parts of our viewing area, NewsLink Indiana kept you informed days in advance.
You do need to be seeking shelter.
Marginal risk of severe weather.
And days after.
The roof has been ripped completely off of this house.
Giving you a first-hand look at the communities affected.
When your neighbors lose their house and you don't, how lucky you are.
The first to alert you of severe weather before it happens. NewsLink Indiana Weather.
Can't believe you're doing this alone.
I've done it before.
I remember you threw your back out. How you holding up?
Hand me that board.
Nothing wrong with getting help.
I'm good.
I did it when Felicia left.
I'll figure it out.
I know you will, but you don't have to do it alone. That's all I'm saying.
If I promise to look into it, will you drop it and help me build this fence?
Now you need my help.
It can be a real pain sometimes, you know that?
Mm-hmm.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Welcome back. Here's a look at the weather with Hunter.
Yeah, like I mentioned, it has been a hot one out today. We reached a high of 91 degrees, almost beating the record set back in 1983, which were usually around 77. So definitely an increase in temperatures for this time of the year. Which I look at the current temperatures, it's 75 in Muncie, 82 in Indianapolis, and 71 in Bloomington. But looking into those hometown temperatures, you can see it's becoming a little bit chilly tonight, 69 in Newcastle and 63 in Marion. Looking at that radar, though, you can see nothing but clear skies in the state of Indiana, really bringing in some nice weather that we've seen recently, which tonight will be calm with a low around 68. And gradually going down to the 60s by 5 a.m. A nice night to keep those windows open and enjoy that fresh air. With coming tomorrow, though, it's going to be another sizzling day. 91 degrees with calm winds. Really nice, but make sure you take precautions during those outdoor activities because it is going to be very hot outside. With that also, bringing those hot temperatures, we have this drought here, in which majority of our viewing area is under a moderate drought, and parts of Grant and Anderson area is under a dry drought, which this is continuous of having 12 days of no rainfall with those high temperatures. With that being said, Delaware County and several of our viewing areas like Jay, Madison, Randolph, Henry, and Wayne are under a burn ban in which their emergency services say that we cannot burn any leaves, grass, or even have a campfire for this time of season, due to that soil condition and that humidity and those winds. So again, the only thing you could do is grill and cook out, but unfortunately no campfires for now, but the Delaware County will let you know once that ban has been lifted. But with that being said, due to that drought, we've only observed 0.02, when usually we have nearly 2 inches of rain for the month of September. So we are in desperate need of rain. We will see that switch though on Friday. Looking at the radar around 8 p.m., we'll have some rain pushing through the state of Indiana, and yet another round coming in on Sunday, mostly all day, all the way into Monday. But unfortunately, this rain is not enough for that drought to clear in our area. So we're hoping to have some more rainfall soon. But like I said, sizzling Friday into Saturday with those rain chances coming into this weekend, but we'll gradually start cooling down next week into the 70s with low temperatures in the 50s.
Yeah, Hunter, I'm gonna be real, man. I see leaves changing colors. You know, we mentioned, there's pumpkin spice lattes coming up.
I can taste it, but I can't feel it.
Can't feel it. I'm looking to wear a sweater. I'm looking to wear some baggier clothing, some things that really scream fall.
Yeah, hoping next week we'll have that.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be very exciting.
Thank you, Hunter.
There's lots more to get to on NewsLink Indiana. Jake Dickman has a preview of sports.
Thanks, DMR and Eli. 2 Ball State teams prepare to ramp up conference play, and an Indy team breaks a long-time drought. All this and more, next in sports.
It's something about having that piece of paper. Some people think that's worth more than my skills.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper.
You just gotta be so good they can't ignore you.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
Analytics and empathy. That's how I've gained clients.
I am more.
I'm more
than who I am on paper.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere. And just growing up the way I grew up and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
¿Qué color? Perfecto, mijo.
Gracias. Thank you.
What's wrong, mijo?
Donating to a pet's medical care is one of the many ways you can help families in your community. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
At night, NewsLink Indiana brings you the news before you go to bed. But Friday mornings, you're waking up with Cardinal Weather, bringing you up to speed on the day's top stories.
And giving you up-to-the-minute conditions from the Ball State Weather Center.
And of course, lots of fun.
I gave mine personality. Look, it's got eyebrows.
Ooh, and you missed.
My lucky glove didn't even work.
But I also am excited for those fall temperatures.
Start your Friday mornings with Cardinal Weather, live on the Cardinal Weather Facebook page.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Jake Dickman with Sports. Ball State Soccer opened up MAC play today against Bowling Green at the Briner Sports Complex. Despite a relatively even first half, things would swing the Falcons' way in the second. 2 goals after the break would be enough for Bowling Green to escape with a win by a final score of 2-0. Coach Josh Reif weighs in with his opinion on the defeat.
It's one game, you know, there's a long road ahead. So, you know, you'd like to start better, but to dwell on it now doesn't do anything. It doesn't make the loss any better or worse.
The Cardinals won't have long to dwell on the loss, though, as they head to Kent State Sunday for a 1 p.m. kickoff. To chip things over to the Lynx, Ball State men's golf will head to West Lafayette this weekend to participate in early season tournament play. The returning MAC champions will be playing in the Purdue Fall Invitational Tournament Saturday at the Brick Boilermaker campus's Camp and Course. After a rocky start to the season, finishing 8 out of the 10 teams in the opening tournament and a less than ideal showing at the Put Me In Coach Invitational, Ball State looks to bounce back with a strong outing this weekend. The Cards will be teeing off against some stiff competition as the tournament hosts schools of the likes of Wisconsin, Virginia Commonwealth University, Indiana, Miami of Ohio, Iowa, Southern Illinois, Western Kentucky, and Butler. To pass it to the gridiron, Ball State football flies to Central Michigan to start their 50th season of MAC play. After a loss to the 10th-ranked Miami Hurricanes last week, the Cardinals look to get back in the win column against the Chippewas. If the squad defeats Central Michigan on Saturday, it will mark their first MAC opener win since 2019 when they beat the Northern Illinois Huskies, and it will extend their win streak against the Chippewas to 3 games. This game also sets the stage for head coach Mike New to complete game 150 as a player and head coach for the Cardinals with a win. After the Cardinals finish their visit to Michigan, they will fly to Harrisonburg, Virginia to take on James Madison before returning to MAC play the week after. Kickoff versus the Chippewas is set for 1 o'clock on Saturday. To pass things over to Gainbridge, the Indiana Fever have one final game to close out their regular season. The Fever will travel to the nation's capital to take on the Washington Mystics tonight. That game is wrapping up now with the Mystics taking it by a final score of 92-91. After tonight, though, the Fever's focus will switch to the playoffs for the first time since 2016, marking the end of an 8-year-old postseason drought. Led by Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, and the ever-electric Caitlin Clark, Indiana will stand as the number 6 seed and will face either the Las Vegas Aces or the Connecticut Sun in round 1. Game 1 of the first round is set to take place this coming Sunday with the Fever on the road. Now, I don't know about you guys, but 8 years ago, I was 11 years old. Yeah. Feels a lot longer than 8 years, good for the Fever in getting back to the playoffs, especially after a rough 1-8 start.
Even losing this game, you know, it's great to see the Fever kind of switch the season around. CC again is electric.
Absolutely.
Baller, Aaliyah Boston, baller.
Kelsey Mitchell,
baller.
Great team all around. Yeah. I'm so excited to see us in the postseason.
I really hope we go far. I feel like we can go far.
I hope so, and I know we find out whether or not it's the Sun or the Aces later on tonight after their game. So I don't know what you guys are leaning more towards. I'm leaning more towards the Sun.
I'm leaning more Aces.
Aces? The Aces are a good team.
Balling. MVP season.
Asia Wilson is something else. She's something else.
Balling.
I hope we get the Sun because the Aces are a good team. But hey, the Fever are even better. I'm going to put it out there.
It's going to be very great basketball being played.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jake. Coming up, Stephanie Weaver has your campus coverage.
And we have one final look at weather after the break.
Attacks against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders are on the rise.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer. In terms of the hate crimes, I think there is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back. My name is Stephanie Weaver, and this is your campus coverage. This week, Ball State hosted over 300 employers of the first 2 annual job fairs for the school year. Hundreds of booths wrapped around Worthington Arena, piquing the interest of the attendees. Each individual booth is uniquely different, not just by the company itself, but also by how their employers interacted with the students. This event helps dozens of students find careers and internships throughout their time here at Ball State. Each one has a different and unique perspective of this event.
This career fair gives me the opportunity to meet essentially with my future and help me decide where I can go after my journey here at Ball State's done.
Even if you missed this event, you can always check with the Ball State Career Center for more information.
And Stephanie, it is always great to see students either find opportunities for summer internships, or even when their time, of course, is done here at Ball State, they can always, find jobs to start their careers.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a great bridge of opportunities and 100% worth the wait.
Yeah.
Yes, Cardinal Center is an excellent resource, but going to something like that, it's got to be difficult with this because you're wearing business casual and it is hot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of hot, let's send it over to Hunter for more.
Yeah, the heat and the dry spell is almost out of the way. Like I mentioned here, 90 and 91 for this Friday and Saturday, but we will gradually have some rain chances coming up for the weekend, hitting up to 84, which will eventually start cooling down in the 70s, looking more like an autumn type day, as I know most of us, we have not enjoyed walking around campus in that hot heat, especially with this suit on today. It was not enjoyable, but we will eventually start cooling down for the autumn month ahead. My name's Hunter Luzader with NewsLink Indiana.
Once again, thank you, Hunter, and thank you, Stephanie. That's all tonight for NewsLink Indiana. Be sure to tune in tomorrow morning at 8 for our sister show, Waking Up with Cardinal Weather.
And for news anytime, anywhere, just go to ballstatedaily.com. Have a great night and stay safe.